The gun pressed cold against Ada's temple. She could feel the metal trembling slightly, or maybe that was her own body shaking. Hard to tell anymore. The warehouse reeked of rust and blood, and somewhere in the darkness, water dripped with maddening consistency. "You saved the wrong man's life, nurse," the voice said behind her. She couldn't see his face, but she could smell the cigarette smoke clinging to his clothes, mixing with the metallic scent of violence. Ada closed her eyes and whispered a prayer in Igbo, the words her mother taught her as a child. If she was going to die in this godforsaken warehouse in Seoul, at least she'd die with her mother's prayers on her lips. An explosion shattered the moment. The pressure of the gun disappeared as chaos erupted around her. Gunfire. Shouting. The screech of tires. Ada opened her eyes just in time to see masked men pouring through the warehouse doors, and for a split second, she felt something she hadn't felt in days. Hope. But that was later. That moment of terror was still 72 hours away. Right now, Ada Okafor was just a nurse finishing another exhausting night shift at Seoul National Hospital, completely unaware that her life was about to shatter into a million pieces. The rain hammered against the hospital windows like it was trying to break through. Ada stretched her back, feeling every vertebra pop after 12 straight hours on her feet. Her phone buzzed. A video call from her sister Chioma back in Lagos. Uni. Chioma's face filled the screen, bright and beautiful and so far away it made Ada's chest ache. "You look terrible." "Thanks," Ada laughed, tucking a stray braid behind her ear. "Love you too. When are you coming home? Mama keeps asking. She thinks you've forgotten about us." "Never," Ada said softly. "I could never forget. I'm here working so you can finish university, remember? So Mama can stop worrying about money." I know. But still. You've been in Korea for 2 years now. Don't you miss home? Don't you miss jollof rice and proper pepper soup?" Ada smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Every single day. But I made a promise to Papa before he died. Take care of the family. This is how I do it. Papa would want you to be happy too, Uni." Before Ada could respond, the emergency room doors exploded open. Not literally, but close enough. The sound of screeching tires and shouting men shattered the peaceful night. Ada's head whipped around. "Chioma, I have to go. I love you." "Wait, what's happening?" Ada ended the call and ran toward the commotion. What she saw made her blood freeze. Men in expensive black suits were carrying someone, and even from a distance, she could see the blood. So much blood. It soaked through their clothes, dripped onto the pristine hospital floor in thick, dark drops. Head nurse Park tried to intercede. "Sir, you can't just barge in here. We have protocols." One of the men pulled back his jacket. The gun underneath glinted under the fluorescent lights. "He dies, you all die. Simple." The emergency room went silent. Patients stared. Other nurses backed away. But Ada felt something different rising in her chest. Not fear, though that was there too. Something deeper. The same thing that made her become a nurse in the first place. The absolute, unshakable need to save lives. She stepped forward. "Put the guns away. I'll save him." Every eye in the room turned to her. The man with the gun studied her with cold, calculating eyes. "You better, African girl. Or you're next on my list." African girl. She'd been called worse in her 2 years in Seoul, but it still stung. Still made her feel like an outsider. But right now, none of that mattered. Right now, there was a man dying on her emergency room floor. "Get him to or two," Ada commanded, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Prep for emergency surgery. Gunshot wounds. Multiple. Move." Her team sprang into action, grateful someone had taken charge. As they wheeled the patient toward the operating room, Ada finally got a good look at his face. Even pale and unconscious, even covered in blood, he was striking. Sharp jawline, dark hair falling across his forehead, features that belonged on a magazine cover rather than a trauma victim. "Who is he?" Ada asked the man who'd pulled the gun. "Does it matter?" "Just save him." "It matters if I need to know his medical history." "Allergies." "Blood type." "Anything." The man hesitated, then leaned close. "His name is Kang Min-jun. And if you let him die, I promise you won't see tomorrow." Ada met his gaze without flinching. "I don't let my patients die. That's not what I do." In the operating room, Ada transformed. The fear melted away, replaced by pure focus. This was her domain. Her kingdom. Here, she wasn't an outsider or a foreigner. Here, she was a healer, and nothing else mattered. 3 gunshot wounds, she announced, examining the injuries. 1 in the shoulder, superficial. 1 in the abdomen, potentially serious. 1 near the heart. That's our priority. Her hands moved with practiced precision, cutting away clothing, prepping the surgical field. The attending surgeon, Dr. Kim, arrived and took one look at the armed men visible through the window. "Ada, what have you gotten us into?" "Saving a life, doctor." "Isn't that what we do?" Dr. Kim wanted to argue, she could see it in his eyes. But he was a doctor too, and the oath they'd taken didn't come with exceptions for dangerous patients. The surgery was the longest 3 hours of Ada's life. The bullet near Min-jun's heart had nicked an artery. Blood pressure dropping. His heart stopped twice. Twice, Ada brought him back, her hands moving faster than thought, pure instinct and training taking over. She remembered her father, Dr. Joseph Okafor, teaching her when she was just a girl watching him work in their small clinic in Enugu. "Ada, my daughter, medicine is not about judgment. It's about compassion. We heal everyone who comes to us. The good, the bad, the broken. We heal them all, and we let God sort out the rest. Come on," she whispered as she performed CPR on Min-jun's chest. "Come on, come back. Not today. You don't die today." The monitor flatlined. That high-pitched whine that haunted every medical professional's nightmares. Dr. Kim reached for the defibrillator. "Clear." Min-jun's body jerked. "Nothing." Again. "Clear." Another jolt. Another flat line. Ada looked at the clock. They'd been trying for 4 minutes. Much longer, and even if they got him back, brain damage would be inevitable. "One more time," Ada said. "Please." "Clear." This time, the monitor beeped. Once. Twice. A rhythm. Erratic at first, then steadying. Min-jun was alive. Ada slumped against the wall, her legs suddenly unable to support her weight. Her hands were shaking now, the adrenaline draining away and leaving exhaustion in its wake. She'd done it. She'd saved him. Whoever he was, whatever he'd done, she'd saved his life. Through the observation window, she could see the men in suits. They were smiling now, relief evident even through the glass. One of them, the one who'd threatened her, gave her a small nod. Acknowledgement, maybe even respect. Dawn broke over Seoul, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold that Ada might have appreciated if she wasn't running on fumes and fear. She checked on the mystery patient one more time before ending her shift. His vitals were stable. Strong. Against all odds, he was going to survive. The hospital administrator, Dr. Park, intercepted her in the hallway. His face was the color of old paper, and his hands shook as he held up his phone. "Do you know who that is? Do you have any idea what you've done?" Ada blinked at him, too tired for riddles. "A patient. I saved a patient's life. That's Kang Min-jun." Dr. Park's voice rose to a near shriek. He shoved his phone in her face. News articles. Police reports. Photos of crime scenes. He's the most dangerous man in Seoul. A suspected crime lord. Gang leader. He's suspected of ordering at least 15 murders. And you just saved his life. The words hit Ada like physical blows. She grabbed the phone, scrolling through article after article. The devil of Seoul. Suspected kingpin of underground operations. Police unable to touch untouchable crime boss. Oh God, Ada whispered. What have I done? Exactly what you were supposed to do, a voice said behind her. You saved a life. She turned to find the man from earlier, the one with the gun. In the daylight, he looked almost normal. Mid-30s, expensive suit, tired eyes. If she'd passed him on the street, she might have thought he was a businessman. My name is Jin Woo, he said. I'm Mr. Kang's second in command. And you, Nurse Ada Okafor, just became very important to very dangerous people. I don't want to be important. I just want to do my job and go home. Jin Woo's smile didn't reach his eyes. That's not how this works. You saved the boss's life. That makes you valuable. It also makes you a target. A target? Ada's voice cracked. For what? I'm nobody. I'm just a nurse. You were nobody, Jin Woo corrected. Now you're the woman who saved Kang Min-jun. Every rival gang in Seoul is going to want to know who you are. Some will want to use you. Others will want to kill you to hurt him. Welcome to the game, Ada. Whether you wanted to play or not. He walked away, leaving Ada standing in the hallway with her world crumbling around her. This couldn't be happening. This was supposed to be a fresh start, a way to help her family, a clean life in a new country. Now she was tangled up with gangsters and crime lords and people who solved their problems with bullets. She tried to go about her day. Tried to pretend everything was normal. But she felt eyes on her constantly. Other staff members whispering. Security guards she'd never seen before stationed at various points throughout the hospital. And when she finally made it back to check on Min-jun before leaving, she found him awake. Their eyes met, and something passed between them that Ada couldn't name. Something electric and terrifying and completely inappropriate given the circumstances. You, Min-jun said, his voice rough from the breathing tube. You're the one who saved me. Ada approached cautiously, falling back on her professional training. How are you feeling? Any pain? Difficulty breathing? Answer my question first. You saved my life. Yes. That's my job. I'm a nurse. Min-jun studied her with an intensity that made her skin prickle. Most people would have let me die. They'd have been afraid. Or they'd have thought I deserved it. Maybe you do deserve it, Ada said, surprising herself with her honesty. I don't know who you are or what you've done. But when you came through those doors, you were just a dying man. And I don't let my patients die. I don't care if you're a saint or a devil. That's not my job to decide. Something flickered in Min-jun's eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. What's your name? Ada hesitated. Giving him her name felt like crossing a line, like making this personal when it needed to stay professional. But she could feel the weight of his gaze, the strange pull of this moment. Ada. My name is Ada Okafor. Ada, he repeated, and the way he said it, with that slight Korean accent wrapping around the syllables, did something to her insides that she absolutely did not want to examine. I won't forget that name. And I won't forget what you did for me. You don't owe me anything. I was just doing your job. Yes, you said that. Min-jun tried to sit up and winced. But in my world, debts matter. You gave me my life back. That's not a small thing. Before Ada could respond, Jin Woo entered with several other men. They all bowed slightly to Min-jun, a gesture of respect that seemed almost archaic in modern Seoul. Boss, we should move you to a more secure location, Jin Woo said. Then, to Ada, and we need to talk about your security. My security? Ada's laugh was slightly hysterical. I don't need security. I just need to go home and sleep for about 3 days. Jinwoo pulled out a tablet, his face grim. This is security footage from outside the hospital. See those men in the blue jackets? Serpent Clan. Those in red? Jade Dragons. They're all watching the hospital. Watching for you. Ada's stomach dropped. Why? What do they want with me? Information. Leverage. Some of them probably want to kill you just to send a message to the boss. You think you can just walk out of here and go back to your normal life? You're connected to Kang Min-jun now. That changes everything. No, Ada said firmly. No, I refuse to accept this. I'm going home. I'm going to my apartment, and I'm going to sleep, and when I wake up, this will all be some insane nightmare. She stormed out before anyone could stop her. Let them try to follow her. Let them try to threaten her. She was Ada Okafor, daughter of Dr. Joseph Okafor, and she'd survived plenty of hard things in her life. She'd survived leaving her home country, learning a new language, building a life in a place where people looked at her skin and heard her accent and made assumptions. She could survive this too. The subway ride home felt longer than usual. Every person who looked at her seemed suspicious. Every sudden movement made her jump. By the time she reached her small apartment in Itaewon, her nerves were frayed to breaking. She locked her door. All 3 locks, plus the chain. Then she collapsed on her bed, still in her scrubs, and let herself cry. For the first time since coming to Korea, Ada let herself feel the full weight of loneliness and fear and exhaustion that she usually kept locked away. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Did you get my gift? Ada frowned. What gift? She opened her door cautiously and nearly tripped over a black velvet box sitting on her doormat. Inside was jewelry. Expensive, beautiful Korean jade set in gold. A note in perfect English, you gave me my life back. This doesn't cover the debt. MJ. Ada's hands trembled as she held the jade jewelry. It was beautiful, probably worth more than she made in 6 months. But accepting it felt like accepting everything that came with it. The danger. The debt. The connection to a man who lived in a world of violence and shadows. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She knew she shouldn't answer. Knew nothing good could come from it. But her finger hit the accept button anyway. Did you get my gift? Min-jun's voice was stronger now, less rough. He must have been recovering quickly. I can't accept this. I was just doing my job. I'm a man who pays his debts, Ada. And I always protect what's mine. I'm not yours, she said, but her voice wavered. Not yet, he replied, and she could hear the dark amusement in his tone. But you will be. Whether you want to admit it or not, you're in my world now. And in my world, I don't let go of what's valuable. I'm not valuable. I'm just a nurse, yes, I know. You keep saying that like it makes you less important. But you're wrong. You looked at me, a stranger covered in blood, probably the most wanted man in Seoul, and you decided I was worth saving. Do you know how rare that is? How extraordinary. Ada's breath caught. No one had ever called her extraordinary before. Certainly not a man like this, a man who probably had women throwing themselves at him despite his criminal empire. Min-jun. Say it again. What? My name. Say it again. I want to hear how you pronounce it. This was insane. She was having an intimate conversation with a crime lord while standing in her tiny apartment holding stolen jade. This wasn't her life. This couldn't be her life. Min-jun, she whispered, and hated how her voice softened around the syllables. Beautiful, he said. You make it sound beautiful. Ada, I need you to listen carefully. There are people who want to hurt you because of me. I can't allow that. My men are outside your building. They're going to keep you safe. I don't need. The sound of shattering glass cut her off. Ada screamed and dropped the phone. Her window had exploded inward, and lying among the broken glass was a brick wrapped in paper. With shaking hands, she picked it up and unwrapped the message. The nurse dies next, Serpent Clan. The words were written in what looked like red paint, but Ada knew enough about violence to recognize dried blood when she saw it. Her phone was still connected. She could hear Min-jun shouting her name, his voice sharp with fear and fury. Ada. Ada. Are you hurt? She picked up the phone. They threw something through my window. A threat. I'm sending my men up right now. Pack a bag. You're coming with me. No. Absolutely not. I'm calling the police. The police can't protect you from the Serpent Clan. I can. You have 60 seconds to decide. Come with my men willingly, or stay there and die. Choose. Ada looked at the broken glass, the threatening message, the blood-red words promising her death. She thought of Chioma, of her mother, of all the people depending on her to survive and send money home. She thought of her father's dream for her, to be a healer, to save lives. Hard to save lives when you were dead. 30 seconds, Ada. She grabbed her bag and started throwing things inside. Clothes, passport, the photo of her family she kept by her bed. Her hands were shaking so hard she could barely zip the bag. A knock at her door. Miss Ada? We're here to escort you to safety. She opened the door to find two of Min-jun's men, both looking professional and dangerous in expensive suits. They could have been bodyguards for a celebrity or muscle for a mob boss. In this case, they were both. Let's go, one of them said. The boss is waiting. The ride through Seoul streets felt surreal. Ada watched her city, the place she'd called home for 2 years, slide past the tinted windows of a black SUV. Neon signs reflected off wet pavement. Late-night vendors packed up their carts. Normal people living normal lives while Ada's entire existence spun out of control. They drove for what felt like hours but was probably only 40 minutes. Seoul's urban sprawl gave way to mountains, darkness broken only by the occasional streetlight. Finally, they turned onto a private road that wound up into the hills. The compound appeared suddenly, like something out of a movie. High walls. Armed guards. Cameras everywhere. And behind it all, a modern mansion that probably cost more than Ada would make in 10 lifetimes. Welcome home, one of the men said, and Ada almost laughed at the absurdity of it. Home. This fortress of crime and violence and danger. This was the opposite of home. Min-jun was waiting inside, and seeing him standing there, fully dressed in an expensive suit despite his recent surgery, Ada felt something shift in her chest. He shouldn't look this good. He shouldn't make her heart race like this. He was a criminal. A monster. The devil of Seoul. But when he looked at her with those intense eyes, when he crossed the room and gently touched her face to check for injuries, he didn't feel like a monster. He felt like safety. Like protection. Like something Ada had been missing without knowing it. Are you hurt? His voice was soft, concerned, nothing like the cold crime lord from the news articles. No. Just scared. And angry. And confused. All of the above, really. I'm sorry. This is my fault. I brought this danger into your life. Yes, you did. By getting yourself shot and stumbling into my emergency room. Ada pulled away from his touch, needing the distance. What happens now? Do I just live here forever? Hide in your fortress while my real life passes by outside? I'm going to end this. The Serpent Clan, the Jade Dragons, all of them. I'm going to eliminate the threat so you can be safe again. Eliminate, Ada repeated. You mean kill. You're going to kill people because of me. Min-jun's eyes went cold. I'm going to kill people who threatened you. Yes. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And what does that make me? An accomplice? A reason for more death? It makes you alive. That's all that matters to me. They stood there, 2 feet apart but worlds away in understanding. Ada, who'd taken an oath to save lives. Min-jun, who ended them without hesitation. Ada, who believed in mercy and second chances. Min-jun, who believed in power and protection. I want to show you something, Min-jun said quietly. He led her through the mansion to a door she hadn't noticed before. Behind it was a fully equipped medical facility. State-of-the-art equipment, surgical tools, everything a hospital would have but newer, better, more expensive. What is this? My men get injured. They can't go to hospitals. Too many questions. Too much risk. So I built this. But the staff I have, they're not as good as they should be. People have died here who shouldn't have. Ada walked through the medical wing, her professional eye cataloging everything. It was impressive. With the right staff, the right protocols, this could save lives. You could work here, Min-jun said, watching her examine the equipment. Save lives. My men's lives. They're criminals, yes. But they're also fathers. Brothers. Sons. They have families who love them. You're asking me to become your personal doctor? For gangsters and killers? I'm asking you to do what you do best. Heal people. The fact that those people work for me doesn't change their humanity, does it? Ada wanted to say yes, it did change things. Wanted to maintain the moral high ground. But she thought of her father again, his words echoing in her mind. We heal everyone. The good, the bad, the broken. I need time to think, she said finally. About all of this. About what it means. About what I'm willing to compromise. Take all the time you need. But you're staying here until I make sure you're safe. That's not negotiable. The room Min-jun gave her was larger than her entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Seoul, the city lights twinkling like earthbound stars. A king-size bed with sheets that probably cost more than her monthly rent. An in-sup bathroom with a tub that could fit 3 people. Ada sat on the edge of the bed and called Chioma. It rang 4 times before her sister answered, voice groggy. Uni? It's like 3 in the morning there. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I needed to hear your voice. You're lying. I can always tell when you're lying. What happened? Ada wanted to tell her everything. The shooting, the threats, Min-jun, all of it. But how could she explain this insanity? How could she burden her baby sister with this nightmare? I'm just having a hard day. Work stuff. You know how it is. Are you safe, Uni? Because you sound scared, and you never sound scared. I'm safe, Ada said, and it was mostly true. She was probably safer here in Min-jun's fortress than anywhere else in Seoul right now. I'm with someone who's protecting me. It's complicated. A man? Oh my God, it's a man. Uni has a boyfriend. Despite everything, Ada laughed. It's not like that. It's really not. But there is a man. And he's protecting you. That's basically a K-drama plot. Is he handsome? Please tell me he's handsome. Chioma. He is. I can hear it in your voice. You think he's handsome? I think he's dangerous and complicated and possibly the worst decision I could ever make. But handsome. Devastatingly so, Ada admitted. And that's the problem. They talked for another 20 minutes about nothing important. School gossip. Mama's garden. The new pastor at church who was too young and too good-looking and causing problems with the older ladies. Normal things. Safe things. Things that reminded Ada there was still a world outside this nightmare, still a life waiting for her if she could just survive long enough to get back to it. After hanging up, she tried to sleep but couldn't. Her mind kept replaying the day. Min-jun's eyes when he first woke up. His voice on the phone. The way he'd touched her face so gently, checking for injuries. The medical facility he'd built. The threat written in blood. Around midnight, she gave up and wandered the house. It was eerily quiet for such a large place. She found her way to the kitchen, thinking maybe tea would help. Min-jun was already there, sitting at the counter with a glass of whiskey. "Can't sleep either?" he asked. "Too much to process." He poured her a drink without asking. Ada normally didn't drink, but tonight felt like an exception to all her normal rules. She took a sip and coughed. It burned going down. "Not a drinker?" "Not usually. But then again, I'm not usually kidnapped by crime lords, so I'm making exceptions." "I didn't kidnap you. I saved you." "Semantics." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Min-jun spoke, his voice quieter than she'd heard before. "I was 12 when my parents were killed. Gang violence. Wrong place, wrong time. I was going to die too, but someone saved me. Took me in. Trained me. Made me what I am." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you asked me earlier what kind of monster I am. I'm the kind that was created by circumstances. By violence. By a world that doesn't care about mercy or second chances." "That's not true. Everyone gets second chances." "Not in my world." He finished his drink and poured another. "In my world, you show weakness once and you're dead. You hesitate, you're dead. You trust the wrong person, you're dead. I've survived by being harder, colder, more ruthless than everyone else. And now? Now I met a woman who looked at me covered in blood and decided I was worth saving. And it's making me question everything I thought I knew about the world." The intensity in his gaze made Ada's breath catch. This was dangerous. This feeling building between them was more dangerous than any gang threat. Because bullets she could survive. But this? This connection that felt inevitable and terrifying and completely impossible? This could destroy her. "I should go back to my room," she said, but she didn't move. "You should," Min-jun agreed, but he didn't look away. "Min-jun. I know. It's complicated. Impossible. You're a healer and I'm a killer. You believe in second chances and I believe in survival. We're from completely different worlds. So why does this feel like we were always meant to end up here? In this moment? Despite everything that says we shouldn't?" Ada nodded, unable to speak. Min-jun stood and crossed to her. He moved slowly, giving her time to pull away, to run, to do the smart thing. But Ada stayed frozen as he reached out and tucked a stray braid behind her ear, his fingers lingering against her cheek. "I don't know what this is," he said softly. "I don't know what we're doing or where it's going. But I know that when you walked into my life, everything changed. And I can't go back to what I was before. I don't want to. I'm scared," Ada whispered. "Of you. Of this. Of what it means." "Good. Fear keeps you smart. Keeps you alive." "But Ada?" He leaned down, his lips close to her ear. "Don't ever be so scared that you stop living. That's not surviving. That's just existing. And you deserve more than that." He pulled back, leaving her breathless and confused and wanting things she absolutely should not want. Then he walked away, leaving her alone in the kitchen with her racing heart and the taste of whiskey on her lips. Ada went back to her room, but sleep still wouldn't come. She stood at the window, looking out at Seoul, and thought about choices. About the moment in the emergency room when she'd decided to save Min-jun's life. If she'd known then what would happen, would she have made the same choice? The honest answer scared her. Because yes, even knowing everything, even knowing the danger and the complications and the impossible feelings developing between them, she would have saved him. She would have chosen this path. Because that's who Ada Okafor was at her core. A woman who saved lives, who chose compassion, who believed in the possibility of redemption. Even for the devil of Seoul. Outside, somewhere in the darkness, enemies were planning. Threats were forming. Violence was brewing. But in this moment, in this fortress overlooking a city of 10 million souls, Ada felt something she hadn't expected. She felt alive. Truly, completely, terrifyingly alive. And maybe Min-jun was right. Maybe that was worth the risk. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more episodes of Ada and Min-jun's journey. Comment below and tell us what you think will happen next. Will Ada stay with Min-jun? Will the Serpent clan attack again? Will their impossible connection survive the dangers ahead? Hit that notification bell so you don't miss episode 2, coming soon. This is just the beginning of The Healer and the Hunter, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.